back to the UCATT channel, and today with the wrap up of round 18 of the 2021 AFL season, I decided I would do what every AFL YouTuber is doing at this time of year, and I will go and squiggle to predict my top 8 and finals for the rest of the year. Now, I have already done this earlier this year, but as the season coming to a close, I thought I would make my final top 8 and Premiership predictions. So yeah, let's go. Okay, first up, we have got this is the current ladder right now. First up, we have got the Power and the Pies. I think the Power should get this done pretty comfortably. The Pies racking up a woeful second half against the Blues. At the time of recording this today, I'll go the Pies by 6 goals. Oh, sorry, not the Pies, the Power. Now, GMHB, we've got the Swans and my beloved Fremantle Dockers. Unfortunately, actually, wait, apparently I've read an article that the game might be moved to Optus instead of GMHBA because of COVID, which will be massive, but assuming it's at GMHBA, I'm going to go Swans by 29. I think they're a legitimate Premiership contender. Hawthorn and the Lions at the G. I'll try and take a few upsets during this, but I don't know. I don't see the Hawks winning. I know the Lions aren't a great side at the G, but yeah, I reckon that still should get job done against the Hawks, even though they did just draw against the Ds. I'll go Brisbane by 26. Then the Dons and the Giants. I think the Dons are a much bigger side than GWS. I'll go them by 15. Gold Coast and Melbourne. Probably not going to be playing in Darwin. But I see Gold Coast. I'll go Gold Coast by 5. I actually see the Suns maybe pulling off an upset here. West Coast and St Kilda. I'll go West Coast by 16 points. They're still not in amazing form even after that win against Adelaide. But should get the job done against the Saints. The Bulldogs and the Crows. I reckon this will be a blowout. I'll go 47 points. Now, the Catters and the Tigers. Remember, Dusty is actually out for the year. This is a game I see the Tigers potentially winning, but I reckon the Cats will be too strong by 27 points, moving up to second on the ladder. Now it is the Blues and the Roos. You know what? If we're going wild, if we're going upset city, we're going to go a draw. I reckon a draw could very well happen with these two sides. Carlton, when they're at their worst, they're arguably the worst team in the comp. And when North are at their best, they could even sneak out of being a bottom 4 side. Obviously not this year, but I don't mind North, so I'll go a draw. Essendon versus Sydney. I'll go an upset here. I'll go the Dons by 2. I reckon they could pull off an upset against the Swans at Marvel. Now it's the Roos and the Cats. The Roos, again, could win this game because it's in Hobart, but I reckon the Cats will get it done by 33 points, moving to top of the table. Now the Lions and the Suns. Lions should be too strong at the Gabba by 32 points, moving into the top 4. The Saints and the Blues. I'll go the Saints by 27 points. The Saints at Marvel, when they're playing good footy, are a very, very good side. Now it's the Ds and the Dogs. It's actually quite tough, that one, but I'll go the Ds. I'll go the Ds by a goal. That will actually be one of the games of the year, if I'm being honest. And then it's the Crows and the Hawks. I reckon the Crows at Adelaide should get the job done by 15. Now the Giants and the Power. I'll go the Power by 20. Should beat GWS quite comfortably there. Collingwood and West Coast. We've got a little upset here. I'll go the Pies by 3 points. They can maybe put in a good performance. Now the Dockers and the Tigers. If the Tigers continue with their horror form, I'm going to actually go the Dockers here by 2 goals, moving up to 9th position. Then the Blues and the Suns. I'm going to go the Suns by 5 points. Another little upset. The Suns, their best ever season was in 12th position, so they still could maybe have their best ever season. Next up, we've got the Catters and the Giants. This is the game the Catters should really take a hold of. We've got the Cats by 47. Now the Hawks and the Pies. You know what? I'll go a little Hawthorn win by 29. Actually, no. I'll go single digits. It won't be that much. I'll go 8 points for the Hawkers. Richmond and North. I'll go Richmond by 21 points. They shouldn't drop a game to North Melbourne. They shouldn't be dropping games to North. They realistically want to make a push for finals footy. The Saints and the Swans. I'll go another upset. I'll go the Saints by 23 points. Except the Dogs. You know what? It's upset city today. I'm going to go the Dons by 6 points. It's upset city. You know what? Okay, how many upsets have happened this season? I wouldn't be surprised if all of these happen. So I don't just want to make like a generic prediction. I want to make sure there are a few upsets thrown in there to get the most realistic point of view of the ladder. Next up, the Crows and the Power. I reckon the Power will be too strong by 17 points. The Power moved to second on the table. Wow. Next up, it's the Dockers and the Lions. I see the Dockers potentially getting a win this game, but I'll go Brisbane by 4 goals. Next up, it is the Eagles and the D's. I'm going to go the D's by 26. So, alright, so moving into the second last round of the season, the teams on the bubble of making finals are the Saints, the Tigers, and the Dockers. Surprisingly, the Suns still technically can, but I don't think they will. They probably won't. No, they definitely won't. Next up, it is the Lions and the Pies. I'll go Brisbane by 23. The Dogs move out of the top 4. Next up, it's the Cats and the Saints. I reckon the Cats will take a hold of them quite easily there at GMHBA. The Suns and the Dons. I've got a little upset with Gold Coast. I reckon Gold Coast win these sorts of games against Essendon. They just win those sorts of games. Then it is GWS and Richmond. I'll go the Tigers by 2 points in a little close game. Richmond move into the top 8. Next up is the Hawks and the Dogs. I'll go the Dogs by 52. They'll find some serious form heading into finals, I reckon. Then we've got the D's and the Crows. I'll go the D's by 37 points. That'll be a nice win for them. Then the Roos and the Swans. I reckon the Swans will win that by 33. Have a serious chance. I've lost by 5 points. Moving into 10th position. So moving into the last round of the season. Look, 8th all the way down to 11th have the same record, only separated on percentage. So it's real tight. Only the top 7 is locked into finals. Surprisingly, Essendon are locked into finals here for me. Now I've got the Lions and the Eagles. I'll go Brisbane by 40. The Lions will push for the last game of the season with a big win. And then it's going to be the Blues and the Giants. I'll go the Blues by 22. Just not a fan of the Giants style of foot. When the Giants are on, they're very good, but they're just so inconsistent. You just never know with them. I'm going to go a little upset here. I'll go the Pies by 11 to have a good end to their season. This will be at top of the table, possible grand final clash. In the last round of the season, will be the Cats and the D's. I'll go the Cats. Will I? No, you know what? I'll go the D's. They tend to like having big wins against opposition in opposition territory, so I'll go them. The Tigers and the Hawks. I wouldn't be surprised if the Hawks win, but I'll go Richmond by 3 goals. Next up, it's the Saints and the Dockers. I'll go St Kilda by 13. It's just a type of game Fremantle would lose. Then it's the Swans and the Suns. I'll go Sydney by 34 points. And then it's the Dogs and the Power. I'll go the Dogs by 22. And then last game of the year, we've got the Crows and the Roos. And we'll go Adelaide by 7. So my final ladder is Melbourne in first, Geelong in second, the Bulldogs in third, the Lions in fourth, the Power in fifth, the Swans in sixth, the Bombers in 7th, and the Tigers in 8th, with St Kilda finishing in 9th, the Eagles finishing in 10th, the Dockers finishing in 11th, the Suns in 12th, the Blues in 13th, the Giants in 14th, the Pies in 15th, the Crows in 16th, the Hawks in 17th, and the Roos in 18th. So, moving on to finals, in qualifying final 1, at the MCG, it will be Melbourne taking on Brisbane. Brisbane are historically a great side at the GM in finals with a primarily D's crowd. I'll go Melbourne to move on to prelim final 1. Elimination final 1 at the Adelaide Oval. It is Port versus Richmond. Wouldn't be surprised if Port drop this game, but to be safe, I'll go the Power to win that one. In elimination final 2, we've got Sydney versus Essendon. Pre-year, these were 2 potential bottom 4 sides before the start of this year. Potential 2 bottom 4 sides. And now I've actually predicted them to be playing in an elimination final. I'm going to go the Swans in this one. I assume, because the Sydney COVID situation has no plans of slowing down, so I assume they'll probably try play this at their ground of choice, potentially GMHBA. So I will go the Swans in that one. Then we've got the Cats and the Dogs. I feel like the Cats, this is just a sort of big game, they'll get the job done in, so I'll go Geelong in that one. Then in semi-final number 1, I've got the Lions and the Power at the Gabba. I'll go Brisbane to get it done, moving on to a prelim final. And then semi-final 2, I've got the Western Bulldogs and the Sydney Swans. I just have a sense that the Swans could upset, but I think I'll go the Dogs for this one. And then prelim final 1, I've got the D's and I've got the Dogs. In a little upset, I'm going to go the Western Bulldogs to make it to the grand final. I reckon the Bulldogs will pull out their best footy they possibly can. They'll bring out a few players from their 2016 squad, get some finals experience, and really put on a show in that prelim. And then we've got prelim final 2, it's the Cats and the Lions. I think the Cats will get a pretty comfortable win against the Lions at the G. And then the grand final, I predicted second versus third. I predicted Geelong versus Western Bulldogs was actually the matchup for qualifying final number 2. And for the Premiership, I'm going to go with the Geelong Cats. I'm going to go Geelong to win the Premiership against the Doggies. I think the Cats are just on another level when they're playing good footy. They sometimes drop games to lower sides, but they consistently beat top 8 sides, and they just don't have any plans of slowing down, really. Geelong don't have any plans of slowing down. Obviously, a big 69-point win over the Dockers. And the Dockers, they're not an awful side. I don't think they're top 8 calibre at the moment, but they're not an awful side. So that's just a really, really good percentage booster for the Cats. And it just shows they're not pretenders. They are real contenders for the flag. And that's why I predicted to win the Premiership. So thank you everyone for watching today's video. If you did enjoy it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. Have a good day and see you later.